Hi, this is Matt with iGo360 Software, and today I have the great pleasure of training one of the awesome OsteoStrong franchisees, Jamie, in how to get through a day in the life of a typical day for an OsteoStrong facility. So without further ado, this is going to be a good little quick start guide to really show you how to enter a prospect, schedule a first time appointment, schedule a recurring appointment, and then sell a membership. Those are the main things you're going to have to do to get through your day. And so we're going to cover those real quick here. I'm going to save this video and upload it. So if you ever gone, oh dang, I forgot how to do that, you can check the video. Or if you hire a new employee, you might say, hey, this is the stuff you need to do to get through your day here. That's your primary deal. The rest of the details will come out a little bit later, more detailed training, but this should be enough to get you going and make you dangerous. So first, a quick overview of the program. One is a home button that takes you to a screen of performance metrics, which may or may not appear on your login depending on what security profile you have. Just basically shows performance of members and sales over time. The magic here is prospects, where you enter prospects and maintain them. Members, you enter them, sell them memberships here. And then you have a schedule where you're going to be scheduling members or prospects to come in to visit your center. A CRM, you're not really going to mess around with much. A point of sale button is how you sell certain items to a person, but you're really not going to sell them to them there. You're going to go to the member record to sell them, so it goes to their card on file. You get a bunch of reports in here that report on everything, and employee management where they can clock in and clock out. That's really it. That's the nuts and bolts of the program right there. So the first thing I'm going to show you is quickly how to enter a prospect. Somebody expresses an interest in joining your center, but they haven't bought a membership yet. You can go into prospect and we'll just check it out. It'll show you a list of all your prospects, and then you just click sign up prospect. You capture their name, email address, and phone number. If you happen to get their source and how they heard about you, you click it here, and then you click save. There's some data down here called sales, which is just some key factors that you might want to track about a person, but that's generally set up for a fitness center, and so you're not going to be using that. We're working to develop a different set of data to capture there for OsteoStrong clubs. You click save, and then that prospect is saved. When you do that, they receive an email from you thanking them for their interest in OsteoStrong. That's it. So what do you do next? That's how to enter a prospect. Okay, pretty straightforward. The next thing you're going to want to do is know how to schedule an appointment. So what's going to happen is you're going to have a prospect. Let's say they're going to call in. There's some cool tricks here you're going to learn along the way. And they're going to say, hey, I want to check out your facility. And you're going to say, well, thank you, sir or ma'am. That's great. What day works best for you? I have, and then you're going to be looking at your calendar and see what spots you have open. And you're going to know you got first time appointments, recurring appointments, and Team OsteoStrong here. You're going to schedule people's first time appointments here and recurring appointments here. And then notes to other team members, you're going to enter here. Pretty straightforward. So if you have kind of notes entered here, it's going to be like your little to-do list of activities that you might, Jamie might be telling you to do during the day. And so to add an appointment, it's really super easy. You have the person on the phone. They say, well, how does 10 a.m. on Thursday look? And you simply double click the calendar in that spot. And what happens is you get a pop-up. Okay. Now, if the prospect's already in your system, then you just simply select task, and then you start typing the name of the prospect. And so if you had a person named, Dan, then it would default to Dan as all the Dans in your system, and you schedule them an appointment. You pick the one it is. In this case, we don't have any yet, so we're going to do what's called a new prospect task. And this is going to be how you enter a lot of prospects, particularly if they're calling in or if you're just sitting in front of your computer and wanting to schedule a time to come visit. You're just going to come to the calendar, double click, and click new prospect task. What that's going to allow you to do is to actually enter the new prospect from the calendar. So you're going to schedule their first time appointment, and then you're going to enter them here. So it'll be Matt, test prospect, Matt G at iGo360.com, and then you're going to put in a phone number, and then you're going to select the task is first time appointment. It's not auto recurring, it's only one time appointment. It's going to default to 45 minutes long, and then the result, we're not going to check or change anything. You basically check it as completed when they're done. And it's going to email a reminder to this person that the appointment's coming up. You click save. That's it. You have an appointment that's scheduled in there. New first time appointments entered in the calendar show up in pink so you can tell what's going to happen. And you're done. What happened on this instance is Matt Test got entered as a prospect into the system. We'll go back to the prospects and you'll see Matt Test in there. 2, Matt Test will have received an email saying your appointment is scheduled for June 14th, 2018. The day before June 14th, Matt's going to receive an email reminder of the appointment. You're good to go. Now what's going to happen when June 14th rolls around, you're going to be on your calendar, you're going to see Matt Test has an appointment and set up and ready to go. When he shows up for that appointment, you're going to double click it and you're going to click result as completed. And it'll just stay pink and you don't have to worry about it. If Matt didn't show up, you're going to click result as no show. And that means that appointment will just show up in red here. And that's just an easy way for you to go look at your calendar to see who's showing up and who's not showing up. And you might call to follow up with them later to find out why and reschedule it. It happens. You're not going to get 100% attendance on all your appointments, but there's just a system we have in place to keep track of them by marking them in red. Easy breezy. Okay, so when Matt joins, Matt comes in, he does his appointment, says, wow, this is awesome. You say, hey, great. You sign Matt up for a membership. We're going to show you how to do that in a minute. You're going to say, hey, Matt, when do you want to set up your recurring appointment? And you're going to have your calendar in front of you. By the way, you can have this on an iPad. You'd be clicking along, following them around in your center with an iPad to schedule all this. You can even do this on your phone if you log in from Safari. It's super easy. I have people that were literally out to dinner with friends that introduced the concept at OsteoStrong and are entering people they met at dinner as a prospect and scheduling their first time appointment. I invite you to do the same. So, Matt, he wants to come in and schedule his first time appointment. Let's just go ahead and assume that he's joined and you say, hey, Matt, you ready to schedule your recurring appointments? I have 11 a.m.s on Fridays. You want to go ahead and do that? Matt says yes. So you come over here to recurring appointment. You double click this and when you double click it, it pops up. And then we select the schedule type is going to be task. We're going to assign it to customer Matt Test. You see how I did that? To schedule that, you're just going to start typing the person's name. And it starts narrowing down the list of people that have M-A-T-T in their name. You just scroll down and pick the one you want. Matt is going to be assigned to recurring appointment. That means the appointment is going to appear in the recurring appointment column. And we're going to select appointment. This is going to be auto recurring. We're going to have it auto recur weekly. This is going to be on Friday the 15th at 11 a.m. for 10 minutes. And we're going to leave this blank. No recurring end date. And what that means is as an appointment is going to fill up a year in that time slot. So it's going to be Matt's little personal time slot for 11 a.m. on Fridays. And it's going to be out for a year on your calendar so you can schedule a bunch of other people around all of that. Okay? And as these appointments get consumed, then it continues to add on to the calendar. You have the reminder to employee box checked here. This default appointment will auto-complete on scan-in, which means when Matt shows up on June 15th at 11 a.m. and he scans into your center, it will check it off as complete. Okay? And so that way is the easy way of knowing when you look at your calendar yesterday and you got 3 or 4 recurring appointments that are red, that means that person either didn't show up or they forgot to scan it. And so it's just an easy way of tracking when members don't show up. Don't freak out if you got a bunch of red appointments on there. You may not be checking them off correctly or people may not be scanning in. But at least gives you a clue to go check and make sure your people are showing up. That's it. You just entered a recurring appointment for Matt Test. And so what's going to happen is you're going to have primarily first time appointments show up on your calendar and recurring appointments show up on your calendar. You note that the Matt Test appointment is brown. And so when we go to a week view, you'll see pink, brown. Okay? One of the other things that you can do that really doesn't have anything to do with you as an employee, because you're not going to be doing this, there's going to be an embeddable calendar link that you can stick in a Facebook. You can hyperlink to it in a Facebook post. You can put it in an email to a prospect. You can do whatever. And it allows a person to do just what we did with Matt first time appointment on your calendar so they can do it in publicly. So if you're just doing a broadcast Facebook post, a person could go click on that enter themselves as a prospect, and then have that save and set up their first time appointment. They'll get the prospect email. They'll get the reminder for the appointment. Those appointments appear in yellow. And so when you look at your calendar, you're going to say, okay, I got some pink first time appointments here, and those are going to be ones that I set up. The ones that are yellow are the people that joined from the website. So you'll know that, well, maybe I haven't talked to that person. You might go look at the prospect notes to see what's going on with that person and go from there. Okay? Jamie, did you have any questions about that process? That's most of what you do on that. First few times you go through it, it becomes super easy. Perfect. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to want to sell a membership. So most of the time what's going to happen is that you're going to have a prospect that's in your system, and they're going to say, you guys freaking rock, I want to join. And you go, great, let's sign you up. And so when you go do that, this is a very hyperlink driven system. You just get the list of prospects. There'll be much more on here. If there's a bunch, you can just type in a search for, Matt. That pulls up all the Matts. We only have one prospect. We click the link, and then you push this button here, the little green box man with a red arrow on his chest, which is to convert to a membership. Click the convert to membership, and this is the same screen that would pop up if you went to member sign up. So if they're in as a prospect, you go pull the prospect record and you click the convert to membership, and that captures all the data that you have in the prospect record already, and it dumps it into the new member record. If you don't have that, then you just go into the member button here and you click sign up. Either way, it drops you to the screen. The only difference is all the data from the prospect record is shoved into the member record, so you don't have to re-enter it. You're going to select, and I don't have this set up because we haven't defined Jamie's agreements type, so I'll explain it to you. Basically, you're going to select the OsteoStrong membership plan category and then the core membership, or whichever one you're going to want to sell. All of this defaults to the pricing that is set up for that membership, and then when you're finished with that, you click next. Now for a prospect, all the member data will be on that screen. For a new member, you'll be capturing all the new member data, the name, address, and so forth. You save a payment method on file, which I'll have to show Jamie in a test database here in a second, and go from there. In fact, I think I'm just going to do that from this test database. Let me see here. We got a test over here. Let's see if that will cooperate. Yeah, this might be a little easier for us. Yeah, since we got good momentum here, I'm going to show you how to do it from here. And so we're going to sign up the member. We're going to have the new member, and it's the same screen we were just on. Now this is test data, so it's going to be a bunch of crazy memberships my testers put in here. But you're going to select the category and you're going to select the plan type. So for most of you, it's going to be OsteoStrong and core membership or an add-on membership, depending on what you sell. The start date set, the end date set, and this will default to how much you charge for the membership. You're generally never going to fool with any of this stuff right here. You select the salesperson who's getting credit for that, and you click next. Here's where you capture the member information. It looks like a lot, but you really only have the red dots are the only parts that are required for this. So if you're in a hurry, you can just drop in the red dot required information, but generally the more information you gather, the better. If you're using our barcoded scanning system for people to scan in, you enter the barcode that you're going to assign here, and then you just simply type in the person's name. Okay, see, here's something that's worth showing to you. I already have a prospect that's set up as Matt Test in this database, and so you're going to get this warning pop up that says, hey, you got another prospect. You want to view that person's details, so you can simply convert that prospect to a member instead of re-entering that. So we're not going to fool with that now. We're just going to put a different name, and then the rest of this I'm not going to enter just for the sake of speed. Enter the phone number, enter an email at noemail.com, and birthday and the rest if you want. Now here's the next thing you do. You're going to put in the payment method and how they're going to pay you. 90% of the time it's going to be a credit card. 9% of the time it's going to be a bank account. Once every blue moon it's going to be a statement. Okay? And so when you select credit card, it pops up with a screen for you to select. I can't, it's not, oh, I got my pop-up blocker on. Always allow pop-ups. We'll try that again. Here we go. So I select bank. And so we got payment method, bank. And then you just enter the banking information for an ACH transaction out of their bank account. or if it's a credit card, we do the same thing. We capture the credit card. Okay? Just enter the credit card number. A CVV is not actually required for this kind of a transaction. It's sort of like an internet transaction. And then the card type, and go from there. If you bought our credit card swiper, you can just click the button to swipe the credit card and swipe it, and then you're not having to enter this. And so, I don't know, 10% of the centers actually buy that to do that because they think it's easier. It really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Click save and go from there. The other one is a statement. And so if a person just absolutely refuses to give you a payment method, then you select statement. That means I get emailed a statement each month, and then they come in and pay you. That is an enormous pain in the rear to track as you manage and get, your membership base grows. And so I recommend against it. You don't want to do that. We're going to use that just for the sake of getting through this transaction. Go from here. Click member, save, and check out. The member successfully saved. You get this as a review screen. Hey, they got a prepaid membership. There was a sign-up fee with it. This is the amount it is. If you're going to sell them any supplements or anything else you might be offering, you would add that here. You click checkout. Cashier. And so here you would have a button that says save and process against the account on file. We didn't set that up since we did a statement, so we're going to add a payment method and just take cash. The account on file would also appear over here too. You could select that. We click save and process, and you're done. You're done. It says everything's processed. The receipt's going to pop up here, not on my slow test server. It'll come up a little slower than you will experience it. And then you can just click the button to email the person a receipt or not. By the way, on the receipt, your logo appears here. And that's it. So we've covered 90% of what you're going to do every day in the club with the iGo360 software. You're going to enter prospects. You're going to schedule a first-time appointment. You're going to schedule a recurring appointment. You're going to sign them up as a member, and then you're going to be done. There's going to be some other stuff if a payment fails or if they need to reschedule an appointment, which is all pretty easy. But it's not really for the purpose of this. We're just going to leave that. You'll figure it out as you go along. But if you had to reschedule, let's say this one, and you wanted it at noon, you can literally click it, drag it, and drop it, and it reschedules it. And if it's to a different day, you literally double click it, pick a different day, and click save. Okay. So you've got everything you're going to need to get through the first week of your opening of your facility and to give a good overview to your employees. I hope you found this information helpful, and we'll wrap it up. Thanks.